Hello, beloved church family of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Paul Pursuti, and I will be your host tonight. I welcome you to our Midweek Oasis Wednesday night service. As you will be able to experience tonight, our Wednesday night Oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in satsang style, expressing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2023 is Living Out Loud, and our monthly theme for June is Speaking Truth to Circumstance. Now, last Sunday, Reverend Sunshine introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of The Wise Warrior. And tonight, our speaker will continue that exploration on this very same topic. So as we gather tonight, I really want to welcome you. Early in her ministry with us, Reverend Sunshine Michelle invited us to come to the center well. I really loved that invitation, so I'm going to share it with you tonight. So to do so, she shared these 6 C's for consideration and to incorporate. Please come with a heart of love and tenderness, known as compassion. Come ready to exchange openly through communication. Come in friendship and family, forming camaraderie. Come in harmony and ready to share. We'll have a communion, a common union. Come in partnership and cooperation so we can have collaboration. And come in spiritual awareness and truth, consciousness. As we move into the program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you. If you're new to our community, joining us for the first time tonight or watching us on our YouTube channel, please visit our homepage again at oaklandcsl.org. Click on the I'm New icon on the homepage and look at the lower left-hand corner to submit your email address. Once you do, you'll begin receiving the Village News newsletter once a week in your email. It has all of the information on what is happening at the center in the coming weeks. Little housekeeping note before we get started. We're going to ask everyone to please make sure you turn off your audio microphone. You can leave your camera on, but that will prevent any interruption in the quality of our presentation tonight. So please stay tuned through the end of the service to receive special and important announcements. Gives me great pleasure right now to introduce our speaker tonight. Blending neuroscience, conscious leadership models, spirituality, and a unique international perspective on diversity, Crystal Fry, one of our congregants, is a powerful change agent in her work as a coach, facilitator, and fear slayer. Whether delivering leadership development initiatives, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging interventions, life coaching, or spiritual messages from beyond, she brings clarity and an enthusiastic sense of possibility to any challenge. Going deep to light up and overcome any shadows of fear and limitation. She helps bring more love and more meaningful and fulfilling experiences to life. Crystal inspires those around her to identify and activate their highest and best possible outcomes with the power of presence and response ability. She is a humble servant of God, nature, and all of humanity. So please welcome the terrific Crystal Fry. Crystal, as we do with every organized event at the center, we open with prayer. will you be doing the honors this evening?
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Paul. I actually am getting a little bit of support tonight. It's my first time speaking, and doing the meditation, the prayer, and the speech was a bit much. So luckily, I've got some backup. Peggy Cotton is going to pray us in. Peggy, thank you so much for your help with the talk and also with this support and prayer.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So let's everybody please relax. Close your eyes if you like, or soften your gaze. Breathe naturally and become aware of the ease of that breath that fortifies all that you are, recognizing that that is the breath of God. It is the presence of the one source of all life, the presence of knowledge, the presence of intelligence. And as I am one with that presence of intelligence, of knowledge, so is everyone here, everyone within the sound of my voice. And I know that right here and right now, the blessings are abounded and filled in the presence of Crystal. For she is invincible intelligence, and the blessings have guided this intelligence. Crystal is equipped for expressing herself tonight, and nothing is in the way of that. Nothing. There's no doubt, no anxiety, no fear, and all that is expressed is blessed to be received by all who are present tonight. For the infused power of God is supporting, sustaining, nurturing, and fortifying all that is happening this night and this place, in this way, at this time. And as Crystal is anchored in peace and poised as this warrior of information, all are similarly poised as the receivers, for it is that circle that has no beginning and no end, for the knowledge of God is ever present. And so I leave it there, and I celebrate it all by saying, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Peggy, thank you so much. And I want to give thanks also to Reverend Sunshine Michelle for inviting me. I want to give thanks to Paul and everybody who's on the call supporting us. I want to give thanks for everybody who's not here, who is a part of our community, who's ever been a part of Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. I am so grateful to be in beloved community, and being one with you all, in communion with you all, has truly changed my life. So I want to start off, throughout the talk tonight, I'm going to share a few of my favorite spiritual practices, some quickies that help in the moment. And I want to start with probably the easiest, the fastest, and one of the most profound techniques that I use. And I'm a bit of an evangelist for the breath, because I know, and science confirms, that the breath, our breath, is our greatest tool for self-regulation, which is self-management, which is leadership, which is really everything we do. So this one's really easy. Go ahead and take like a couple breaths. When you breathe through the nose, into the belly, and you exhale with a sigh, it sends the message to your brain and body that you're safe, that all is well in this moment, and it allows more blood to flow to the prefrontal cortex, where we have our highest and best thinking. And you'd think that is where I want to be for this talk, right? In my highest functioning, most rational part of my brain here. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to practice moving from the head to the heart. We spend a lot of time up here in our heads. And the reason why I want to take us down to our heart is because up here in my head, this is where my ego reigns. And this is where I want to be right. And I want to say things correctly. And I want to make sure I drive my message home. And that's great. I've practiced the message and my mind has served me in the preparation of this talk. But actually, I want to come from the heart. So I just invite you all to breathe in. Feel the energy in your head. And as you exhale, bring it down to the heart. Maybe put your hand on your heart. See if you can connect with your heartbeat. Feel the space all around your heart. And then I want you to bring your attention to the space behind your heart. This is where I believe our wisdom originates in our body. This is where we can find the good answers, the best answers. So this is where I want to speak to you from tonight. So when Reverend Sunshine Michelle asked me to do this talk, I really didn't think much about it. I was getting busy. I was busy getting ready to go on vacation. Sounded like a great idea, something I would totally be into, but I didn't give it much consideration. And when I got back from that vacation, which happened to be the most stressful vacation of my life, I received the confirmation that I was speaking in 2 weeks. I was exhausted. I was not feeling it. I saw the topic, Wise Warrior, and my heart sunk. Now, to be honest, this is actually the perfect topic for me, okay? I'm a love warrior. I am a social justice warrior. I'm a no-limit soldier. And just a couple weeks ago, somebody told me I was a prayer warrior too, right? I'm a fear slayer. Okay, shameless plug here for my business. And so you'd think it was just right. But a lot of this year, I've actually been feeling like a foolish failure. And I'm going to need to know from you all, with a show of hands, the little Zoom reaction, who in this room has ever felt like a foolish failure? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. I'm in the right place with other fallible humans like me. Thank goodness we're good to go here. And I really appreciate that. We're going to talk a little bit more about it and what had me feeling that way. But what I want to say for today is that even though I've been feeling a lot like a foolish failure this year, when you're working with the Almighty, anything is possible. And that means that today I am stepping in to my wisest warrior self, and I am claiming it. And I invite you to do the same. Everything is possible. Anything is possible. And I've been getting the message over the last couple of weeks that there's no mess that cannot be cleaned up. And we'll come back around to that because I see that as important at the individual level and also at the global level. Okay, so I broke it down into 3 things. I'm a sucker for the 1, 2, 3 punch. I like to keep it simple. And so the first thing I think that the wise warrior must know, must embody, is that you've got to get on board with God's long game. And when I say long game, I mean long. Okay? There are these beautifully coordinated, exquisitely detailed plans that God makes for us. Plans for healing, plans for preparation, plans for manifesting our desires. And it requires us to surrender. We've got to surrender our timelines. We've got to surrender who we think should be involved, how things are going to happen, when they're going to happen, and even the what sometimes. And I don't know about you, but I struggle with this. Surrender is tough for me. I find myself protesting, reeling against the way things are unfolding. And so the practice of surrender has become really important for me. And I want you to think for later in our discussion, when we turn into discussion, I want you to think about a time in your life when you resisted the unfolding of something and it turned out to be something great. It turned out to be something better than you imagined. I've seen this over and over and over in my life. And I think it's really important that as a community, we talk about this, that we talk about the way that God cares for us, that we talk about the way that we are surprised and delighted by the way God brings everything together. This is what I believe is witnessing. This is what I believe is the true meaning of witnessing in the Bible. And it's so that we can uplift each other and help fortify our faith with the unfolding of these divine plans and divine order. So I'm going to tell you mine, and I'm a long-winded storyteller. I have worked on getting this down, so I'm going to try to tell you in the least amount of words possible, but I'm an open book, so if you have any questions later, you can let me know. But in the beginning of 2018, I had I had 7 jobs, and 3 of them were unpaid, but major commitments. At that time in my life, I was really hustling for my worth. And the universe, God, nature, infinite, one, almighty, whatever you call it, ripped from my clutching, controlling hands almost everything that I was doing, except for my coaching practice. So I said, okay, God, this feels scary, but I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna surrender. I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna start listening to my heart. I'm gonna heal from 20 years of overworking myself. And I'm going to really begin to flow in your divine time. So about a year into it, I realized, okay, this is kind of lonely doing this coaching thing on my own. And plus I want to be making bigger impact. And so I started a consulting group, the Fear Slayers, with a woman who I'd been doing international retreats with. And we get going, we get our branding, we get our marketing. 2020, we get our first client, and boom, COVID. So then it was a rough kind of years, but I'm like, okay, God, okay, I see what you're doing with this global timeout. I like what you're doing. And I'm just going to roll with it, right? Trusting and flowing. And we're going to do that practice in just a moment together. I really like this one. We get it, we make it, I make it to 2022 and I start to feel it taking off. Okay, so we get 1 contract, 2 contracts, 3 contracts, boom, big contract. Okay, now I'm seeing something that is sustainable for my best life in the Bay Area. Okay, and we're working with this client, and the client is all about us, right? They love everything we're doing. They're telling us, okay, get ready. Not only are you going to continue working with this cohort, but next year you're going to work with another cohort. So it's going to be twice as much work. And I'm like, holy hallelujah, finally it's here, right? I'm seeing all my debts coming down, my savings replenish. I'm on board, right? With this new abundance. Come January, things start to feel a little funny. They start missing meetings, not showing up, avoiding calls. 2 months of excruciating uncertainty. And by March, I knew that contract wasn't happening. It was really hard for me. It started to bring up all my stuff around scarcity. Now, this is a generic tale of the entrepreneur. Okay, I've heard it from everybody. You get to that point where you think you're going to throw in the towel, you got to quit. It's time to get a real job, you know? there's nothing new about this story, but for me, it hit a little deeper. I had a very traumatic childhood. I experienced poverty. We were homeless 3 separate times during my youth. And I felt a lot of pain and shame in the exclusion of those circumstances, not being able to access what it seemed like everybody else could access, not being able to have the basics and be secure in those basics. Now, I kind of let that all go for a long time because I had more important things to heal, like my relationship with myself, my family, learning to love myself, learning to be safe in my body after all of that trauma. And to be quite honest, I had kind of forgotten about it and was just like, I'm going to make this work. Well, March comes around. I am feeling like a foolish failure. I mean, really, like, this is it. I've been trying so hard. It's not working. I start to doubt God. I start to resent God. I start to say, I followed you. I trusted you. How could you do this to me? How could you leave me out here with no funds, God? And of course, that's not true. All of my needs have been taken care of, but it brought up my stuff all the way through to this vacation where I went on, where I was supposed to be gathering with all my favorite people from around the world, people flying in internationally. We're having a celebration of life of my best friend who survived a bone marrow transplant last night. We're gathering at this beautiful house in the Finger Lakes. It's going to be so wonderful. I make it to New York and I get COVID. That means no reunion for me. That means I'm isolated. I'm quarantining in Long Island while all my friends are on the lake, riding the boat, sipping wine, just having the time of their lives. And I'm telling you, I went to the deepest, darkest place of self-pity possible. 2 days of fever and self-pity. I don't know which was worse, the COVID or the fever, but it was bad. It was really bad. And something happened. It was so dark that I didn't want to be there anymore. And by day 3, I started to feel something different. And now, a couple weeks out of it, I'm starting to realize that all of this was orchestrated so that I could feel and experience that self-pity, that shame, and that sense of exclusion all the way, so that all of those feelings could come up and out and be revealed to be healed. Okay, so that's my story of surrender. And I wanna pause there, and I wanna do this trusting and flowing thing. There's no happy ending yet. I'm still figuring it out, but I think you can tell that I've got it. So we're gonna do what I call the trust and flow, okay? I want you to start breathing in. And as you breathe in, feel the earth energy coming up from below. And as you breathe out, feel the universal love flowing down. So breathing in, earth energy. Breathing out, universal love. Okay, now I want you to put a hand on your belly. Breathe in and say out loud with me, trust. All you've got to do is trust that the earth is here to hold you. That's it. It's easy. Trust. And now we're going to add in the flow. So breathing in, trust. Breathing out, we put a hand on our heart and we say flow. We're just going to do it a few times together. Breathing in. Trusting the earth, she's got it. She's giving us everything we need to be. Flowing with universal energy in divine time and order. Trust, flow. Can you feel that sensation of being buoyed, being held, being in sync and one with this moment. So in order to get on board with God's long game, we've got to surrender and we've got to forgive. Okay, so it's not just forgiving ourselves and forgiving others, forgiving ourselves for spending like we already had that contract, forgiving ourselves for not doing all the marketing that maybe we could have, forgiving others for what was the most unprofessional ghosting of my life, still mysterious, forgiving even God. And this is a big one. I don't know if you guys fight with God or you ever resent God, but this happens for me. And so in order to do this talk, I knew that I really had to go deep with forgiving God. And because of the 5 gifts course, we had this beautiful exercise where we wrote a letter to God and then God wrote a letter back. And so I'm just going to read you this letter from God. Dear Crystal, I think this is to all of you too, though. I'm writing to share my response to your letter and to the suffering you've endured. I'm so grateful for you opening your heart and heartaches to me, and I know you've been needing to unload for some time. I invite you to unburden yourself to me anytime. Don't worry or be ashamed of your unforgiving feelings. Give them to me. Do not hold them away. Do not let your shame shackle you. I know your great faith and have never once doubted your love for me and for all. I understand each one of your feelings and their depth even better than you. I know your heart more fully and completely than you can. I see what you see and so much more. I know the depths of suffering. I see the destruction and the discord, and each feeling you've expressed is precious to me. Your truth is kind, and your suffering is valid. I made you this way, and I am pleased by your courageous honesty. Even when you forsake me, I love you so completely. Release any burden of guilt and receive my approval in its place. I'm so sorry for the conditions that have harmed you. I'm sorry for all the pain, the shame, the exclusion, the heartbreaks and heartaches. I'm so sorry for any suffering in any way as it has arisen for you, for your family, for your people, your planet, the animals, the plants, the earth, for any destruction and discord. What can I say? I know there are no words that will make it okay. And yet, there is another way. There is knowing and growing in my love, the path you've been on all along. There is our infinite essence that shines and reminds us that life is everlasting and that love triumphs always. There is a new day, a new birth, a new hope, always available and in the works. There is my love, ever present and expanding within you, as you, through you, and forever with you. I want you to know I forgive you, and I will help you to forgive me. Ask and ye shall receive. You are free now, if only you believe. I love you beyond your comprehension. I love you beyond your illusions. I love you so wholly and completely that you are free from any lack or need. I appreciate your service, and I empower you to be more love, a rainbow bridge and beacon of light for all of humanity. There isn't anything you must do to deserve my love and blessings. Just remember who and whose you are. Knowing your entire existence is whole, perfect, and complete. In infinite, unconditional love, God. So there's a lot here when we engage in these forgiveness practices. And Spirit, God, the magic, all of it is just waiting to rush in the moment we make space for it. It is always here for us, always present, always accessible. I think I'm at about time. So I'm going to say your power is in the present. This is the only time you have any opportunity to make any change. Staying in the present allows us to see the opportunities, the resources we need. Staying in the present allows us to respond to the challenges as they arrive most effectively. You can use your breath to stay in the present. You can use affirmations like my new favorite, thanks to Reverend Jerry. I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. That's what I'm practicing these days. And then the final point, the other thing that the wise warrior needs to know is that we must honor and value sacred rest for sacred work. And I added in play because I don't think God sent us here just to work and then rest up for work and then to work some more and then to rest so we can work again. I really think God is playful and wants us to have a good time in this life. And so I feel like this is the perfect transition into our discussion. And I want to ask you all, where are you out of balance? If we're holding it like a triangle of balance, right? Where do you need a little more? And I can say actually quite thankfully that for the first time in my life, I could use a little more work. And I'm not ashamed of it. Sharon, was that a hand? I'm calling on you. Do you need more rest, play, or work?
Oh, but I will. I have loved our conversations over the years. We have just really connected on that energetic level. And I came here tonight to support you. This is your night. And
Thank you so much.
and it was a wonderful job you did. And yeah, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of your support group here. And you did great. You did a great job. And yeah, and so I'll just say, for me, I've been the social warrior for a long time, and we've talked about a lot of that. And I'm a lot older than you are. And I just recently followed my heart and went to energy medicine training, as we talked about. Yeah. And so I'm so thrilled that you are doing this at the stage of your life that you're doing it, and that you're coming out and being willing to share the gift that you've been given to do this work on the planet. So mazel tov to you, my dear. Much love.
So first of all, thank you, Crystal, for a power-packed 20 minutes on the dot. So thank you for that. If you're in the audience and you have a question and want to share something, we're going to ask you to raise your hand like this, and I'll recognize you, or Crystal may get to you before me, or you can use your reaction button, like I'm going to do right now, to raise my hand and then lower it. Do so. And if we can all make sure we're in gallery view so we can all see each other. Great. So who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Crystal, that was wonderful. And I loved your your letter from God. It was absolutely beautiful.
Me too.
We have a copy. Can we have a copy?
I will type it up and send it out. Absolutely. Let's spread it around.
I thought you hit so many points that they just bubbling out as you were saying it. I loved it. Thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Joni. Okay, I see Maureen has her hand up. Maureen.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for sharing. It was absolutely beautiful. The letter to God to me was a prayer. And I mean, wow, so thank you for sharing that. That was really, I was able to get to a deep place and to feel connected. And so thank you for that.
Great, thank you, Maureen. Alice, Kay?
You're muted.
Muted?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because I don't imagine you have time to read the comments, but that was exquisitely divine. And I just started to cry, like tears just started to fall out of my eyes because it was so beautiful. And what I need to do more is laugh and play and stop taking myself so seriously. But I'm so thankful. And something came to mind. Maybe this is a new affirmation. God is my silver lining. I'm
Yes.
complete.
Thank you, Alice. Maureen, were you complete, dear? I want to make sure before.
Oh, yeah. And I'll second what Alice just said, to remember to play. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. I needed that reminder.
Thank you, Maureen. Next hand I see is Robert.
Hello. A few things. I'll start with your question about balance. I think I need to rest more. That's an area where, just having completely unstructured, unprogrammed time. And I agree with what I can't remember if it was Alice or Maureen who said about laughing and playing. I think that really got lost during, especially the early part of the pandemic. The first couple of years of the pandemic, there was not a lot of opportunities to play. And in the past year, there's been a lot more. And I've had much more opportunity to be with, together with good people and to have fun. And I just realized that that's like such a critical component of our mental health. That was the first thing I was going to say. The second thing, I just wanted to compliment you on your presentation. What really came through for me was your authenticity and your vulnerability were right there, and it was very touching. And I just want to mention to everybody that part of the reason I'm here tonight is because I wanted to check out Crystal's thing that she does, because Crystal's going to be presenting a workshop at the One Heart CSL member gathering. That's going to be an online event on Friday evening and all day Saturday, September 29th and 30th. And Crystal's going to be doing a workshop on Saturday. So I encourage you to sign up and tune in for that. There's actually a link on the email that's been going out. It has a picture of the flyer, and you can click on that and it'll take you to the registration page. And since I'm plugging, I'll say that the early bird special runs out in another week. So grab it while you can. So thank you again, Crystal.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you,
Peggy?
Robert. Peggy?
First, I wanted to, I think my mic is on. Thank you, Crystal. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. I knew it would be, like we talked about. Thank you for inspiring me tonight. Oh my gosh, I love going with the flow. When you talked about how the pandemic came along and, it seemed like, oh my gosh, here's another challenge. And what a reminder. We have challenges throughout life, for that is what life is about, and to go with the flow. Thank you for that reminder. I love that. And yes, everything else everybody else has mentioned, I need more rest. I need more play, definitely. And at some point, I want to hear more about the Fear Slayers. I want to hear more about that, okay? So thank you for inspiring us and blessing us with all that energy and all this wonderful information. It was delightful, just delightful. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Miss Constance?
Crystal, that was really wonderful. I didn't get a chance to tell you in the meditation. I was in another universe. I don't remember even hearing 3/4 of what you said, but I was gone, and that was great. I loved it. So, as a being in the flow to me is an ideal, because it's real. Sometimes it's hard for me to know, am I in the flow or am I not in the flow? Because I sort of look around and go, well, one of the things I've been sort of practicing is, well, if things are going in the direction I want them to, no matter how fast or slow, then I'm probably in the flow. But if they're not, then maybe I need to make a right turn or a left turn. And that sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, and I was just thinking, but for me, sometimes it's about getting clear about what's in the way of the flow in me. And so, for example, just recently, I've been writing my journal every morning, and I came to a realization about something, and a belief that I had, and I knew it was a false belief. And so I took it into my practitioner session, and my practitioner and I worked on it, and I came up with, I did some turning around of it. And so I did that, and I started working with it. And I've been having blockages in my legs. I've been having blockages with my car. My car needs a catalytic converter. I haven't been able to get one. And my legs have been really sore, and I haven't been able to get the medical people to really work with it. I did that, and talk about whether I don't think this is just coincidence. I did that work yesterday with my practitioner. Today I went to see yet the 5th doctor I'd seen at Kaiser, and he finally said, okay, I'll book you in and we'll do this procedure that I've been pushing for. So I said, good. And then I went to the mechanic that I usually see, and I said, okay, tell me where else I could get a catalytic converter. He gave me the name. I went down there. The guys, it's getting done on Friday. So it's just like, okay, I had to do my work, and then things could start to flow again. So that's the other part of it. Is it first of all, just trying to figure out, is it flowing or not? That's a big thing sometimes, just to try to really go with that. And then, okay, if it's not, what's my work to do? So thank you.
Thank you, Constance. Crystal, I'm not giving you very much time to respond. They're just lining up like big time. So I'm going to run to the next one, which is our
Keep it coming, but I think I might like to come back to that, because I have a question around, is it possible that it's flowing when it's not going our way too? Because I'm noticing that when it's not going my way, that revealing is what sets us up for the healing. So maybe it's just semantics, but I'd like to go deeper with that, Constance.
Well, no, I totally agree with you, Crystal, because when I came to California from British Columbia, it was one of the worst couple of years of my life. I was just like, nothing was going my way. And what happened is I ended up at the Oakland Center, and I started doing my own work. And I realized that there are no wrong turns in life. There are no wrong turns. Sometimes they're harder turns. They take you on a rockier course, but you're still going where you're supposed to go. So, yeah.
Exactly. Love it. Thank you, Constance.
Thank you, Constance. Reverend Sunshine Michelle, your hand is up.
Well, y'all have me taking notes. So I'm glad there was some delays in here, because stuff keeps coming. Maybe I'm the segue, because I love what you just said, Constance, about there's no wrong turns. I liken that to what I love to say is the lessons learned and not going my way. What does that mean? So what I was thinking of relative to the balance, and I don't know if I need more balance of it because it's already here. So it is in balance. And that is, and I could have a perception about this. And I work towards, notice I didn't say try, I work towards not having an opinion right or wrong about that thing. But it's this sense of flow and oh, I was losing. I have so many thoughts that are going through my mind. That's your fault, Crystal, because you were on fire, as people said. You know, you were doing so well in your talk.
Not sorry.
Huh?
Sorry, not sorry.
No, no, not sorry at all. And it's, I think of Don Miguel Ruiz, and one of his 4 agreements is not taking things personally. So there's been several situations where I could, at the surface of it, take something personally that someone said or did or what have you, and I can feel my energetic rearing up. And then there's not an opportunity necessarily for me to readily talk to that person, either of my own accord or circumstantial. And then I have to step back and reflect on, like, what's up with that, and have my own accountability. So lean in, as you said, you know, that's one of my favorite spiritual practices, is like, lean in. What is it telling me? Let me breathe in with humility. Let me rest my arrogance about I know it or this or that or the other, and let me hear what it has to offer me so that I can achieve that balance. And that's what I've been working on and through. The other thing I wanted to say is the letter from God is fabulous. And I believe that that letter from God couldn't have come through unless you wrote a letter to God. I love the 5 gifts and the way it laid it out like that, for you to be able to see from this perspective and from that perspective, to be able to get that objective view, because they're different points of view. So that's beautiful. I'm really bummed I didn't miss I missed the meditation. You know, somebody else said it. So yes, I'll take you up on that private session. And I'll just end on, you and I talked about, you know, you're a seasoned facilitator, and it's different to be a speaker. So I hope you hear how you have impacted people by your talk and by your storytelling and by your sharing of yourself. That wasn't it is the facilitator wrapped up with who you are and how you present and how you show up. So thank you for saying yes, and I so enjoyed it. I am complete.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sunshine Michelle. I appreciate the offer, your confidence. It's really an honor, and you're absolutely right. I feel it, and it feels good. And also, you hit right on the head one of the points that I didn't make from my talk, which was lessons, blessings, or gifts. That long game that God, the universe, is cooking up. Everything in it is for you. Everything is working for you. And it's either a lesson, a blessing, or a gift, right? And you just got to figure out which one it is. And when it's a lesson, learn it. So you don't have to keep going through it. I'm wondering if anybody else has a testament, can witness about a time in their life when they didn't like the way things were unfolding, and then it turned out to be something even better than they could have possibly imagined. I feel like there's at least one story out there that we got to hear.
Okay, so I'll share something really quickly. And this was when I originally left from California in 2013. And coming cross country, well, over here to Georgia. And in my route, had no clue of where I was going to end up staying. And I trusted Spirit and I prayed about it. I went and got a hotel room. I said, all right, Spirit, you have to work this out because I have no clue of where I'm supposed to land, where I'm going to lay my head. I got up that next morning and did meditation, had prayer with a prayer partner. And as I was checking out from the hotel, someone called me and said, hey, so-and-so said that you needed a place to stay. Here's my address. Call me when you get towards this way. And just like that, it just opened because I was in this place of just absolute surrender. So I'm just always trusting. But thank you for opening this. And thank you for that. When you did the breathing exercise behind the heart, that was very powerful. So thank you for that because I will remember that. Yes.
I love that one because it's one breath.
Yes.
It does not take any time to shift from the head to the heart, but it expands our potential infinitely.
Yes. So thank you, Crystal.
Thank you for sharing that story. I love a down to the last minute, what incarnation am I gonna do moment and the come through.
Yes, and I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Peggy had a story. Peggy had a better than you can imagine moment.
I have a short one. I know we're running out of time. Years ago, I had my very first teaching assignment for a class of 6 people in Alameda. And I was teaching oil painting. They had never had an oil painting class in that facility before. And as the class ended, the usual thing to do is to try to get people to come back. And there was one person in the class, actually there were about 3 people in the class who I really had prayed they would return. And there was one person I wasn't sure she was really equipped to handle the class. She was having a lot of difficulty following instructions. And she was really hard, just difficult all the way around to work with even. And so I left the class and prayed and did my meditation, prayed that I would have. And I remember so clearly saying to myself, I just need one person. If I can help, if I can satisfy one person, that's all I need to help this one person who wants to share in a creative path. And so the two or 3 days went by, I got no call. I got a call back from the place. They said, we don't have anybody. And then I said, okay. I said, well, one of the things I like to say to myself is, let me polish up my intuition. Let me just polish up my intuition because I know that intuitively, there's a sense that somebody is coming. And sure enough, I got a private phone call from that very student who I thought wasn't getting on very well, wasn't able to hold the brush right, wasn't grabbing the concepts. And she said, can I work with you privately? And I said, yes, I always say yes. She's been with me for almost 4 years. And she comes to my studio. I taught with her today. So I am blessed and I'm complete. And yes, that's my story. Thank you.
Crystal, does that round up the discussion for you the way you'd like?
You're still mic'd.
Just got muted somehow.
No, Paul, I never want to stop talking about God with y'all.
Well,
But yeah,
Mr.
okay.
No, but what I was meaning was I felt Peggy was a perfect punctuation. The last 2 shares were perfect, as you are. So let's all go into gallery view and show our appreciation to Crystal for her magnificent presentation tonight. Definitely worthy of rewatching on YouTube and seeing it. I'm going to just thank her immensely. She's just been brilliant to work with today. So with that in mind, we have some announcements for you, some great stuff going on. I'm gonna I do want to let you know, Robert, just so you know, my friend, that on our events page, there is a posting for the member council gathering on the 29th and 30th.
That's it.
So if you all want to know more about what Robert was talking about, where Krista will be speaking, go to our events page and in the lower left-hand corner, and it tells you all about the registration. And you can even click, it has a link for more information and how to register to the main site. So Crystal, congratulations on your new venue that you're going into there. So let's chat that up as always. And now chat up what's going on. So Mr. Peter in Portland, when you're ready, we'll move into our PowerPoint presentation. There we go. Thank you, Peter. This Sunday, July 30th, ministerial graduates Teresa Gardner and Elena Hutchinson will be speaking on the Standing Stones. Meditation is at 10 and service is at 10:30, and it's in person and on live stream. All right, buckle your seatbelts. Next Wednesday, it's me. And I won't get any take twos on that night. Crystal, you were had such a gorgeous bio, and I didn't want to messed it up. I said, I'm taking a take two. It was worth it. So come and see me next Wednesday night and have some fun as we look on those shaky stones that Paul is standing on, okay? Wednesday, 6:30 service, 7 o'clock in Zoom. And Reverend Sally will be hosting me, which is a flip from when she was speaking and I got to host for her. So we're very diverse in our abilities here on Wednesday night. And speaking of diversity, the Diversity Circle is this Friday, July 28th. Please join Doug Myers and Sridevi Ramanathan for a lively, open discussion on all things diverse. This is a Zoom event and it starts at 7 p.m. On Saturday, August 12th, Oakland Center will be at the Laurel Street World Music Festival. If you'd like to help, please contact Beth Van Arkel or Linda Wyman. Calling all LGBTQ+ and friends. Oakland Center is also going to Oakland Pride on Sunday, September 10th. Please contact Sam Lejean if you're interested in helping with any of the following tasks: transport and load in, decorating the booth, finalizing and executive booth activities that reflect our philosophy, spiritual principles, and practices. Be present for shifts to be at the booth, practitioners to provide on-site affirmative prayers, and breakdown and load out of equipment and supplies back to OCSL. 40% off everything in the bookstore in the month of July. This will be the last Sunday for this amazing sale. Early holiday shopping, get more books, and get that thing in the bookstore you've been wanting for so long. The possibilities are endless. So much is happening at the center. If you missed the flyer last Sunday, here is your Zoom copy. Okay, write down the dates of all the great events. I'm not going to review them all. Some of them we've already started talking about. Check out the classes and groups coming up and everything that's happening right now. There was a question, Reverend Sunshine, are you present with me for a moment?
I am, yes, I am.
During the social period, a question came up about the parking lot party on the 27th, and I understand it's still
The 26th is a Saturday.
Okay, so it says August 27th on our flyer. So,
But what was the question?
so it's gonna really be on the 26th, right? Okay.
Yes.
The question was, there was a little blurb on Sunday and there wasn't enough information and someone was a little confused and said, is this our church picnic? And then some other people said, I think it's gonna be the church picnic and more than that. So do you have a second to expound about what
We can make up whatever story we want. Listen, we're simply taking the opportunity to use our beautiful grounds for a summer party. Now, if you want to call that the church gathering in the park that we used to do, that we're doing on site, you're welcome to do that. Or if it's something new, you're welcome to say that. All we want you to do is come and have a good time and bring some friends.
and there's a rumor that there'll be some DJ and dancing. Is that true?
Well, you know who your minister is. You know, I love to dance, and somebody nicknamed me Rev Bling.
I was gonna say, bring your bling.
You know, even though we're in casual attire, we can have fun and celebrate each other. So we're
Right.
just gonna come out and have a good time. More details to come. We will be giving more details.
Okay, good. So for people that are even having the inquiry is good advertising, right, Reverend Sunshine? Thank you for helping me with this.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Always.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's just a sample of how we're trying to communicate what's coming through discussion and every opportunity, because the joy is coming to the center. And as I said in the 60s in the opening, we really have an invitation from Reverend Sunshine, and I'm taking advantage of it. So thank you so much. Please visit the upcoming classes and workshops page on our website for more information about learning opportunities. And don't forget to visit the events page also for upcoming special events. Take a look at this wonderful group of people. These are all our contact team for information. And as always, everything that's going on at the Oakland Center, please visit and explore our website at oaklandcsl.org and sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. Please like us and subscribe to Oakland Center today. We thank our contact team. And in this moment of gratitude, we're going to move into our offering time. If you're so inclined, and I hope you are, to contribute financially to our center, we'd really, really appreciate it. It's so important to give our time, treasure, and talent and invest in that very, very special, beautiful place we call home. So please join me as you take that offering, whatever it is, and hold it close to your heart and follow along as I read our offering statement. Joyously, I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. And releasing that into the universe and knowing that is the truth, there are ways that you can do that. And when I say release it into the universe, I'm not kidding. It's in the internet now. So go to the donate page button up there where the heart is. And when you click on that, it'll lead you to another page that Peter's going to show you in just a second. And from there, you'll see we have like 5 ways. Credit card, click that donate button, or you can use Zelle and it gives you the address, or you can text at that number to give, or you can mail it the old-fashioned way. Our address is right there. Or the new-fashioned way, now that it's post-pandemic, bring it to the church and put it in the offering basket. Zealously, I know our prosperity is present and growing and growing and growing. Terry Cole Whitaker said, prosperity is your divine right. And I believe that is true. So with that in mind, I want to do some thank yous, because gratitude for me is super important for everyone that helps put this Wednesday night service together. It's been so lovingly managed and cared for all these years. I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I want to thank Crystal for doing that outstanding meditation, setting the tone for herself, but for also for all of us, and delivering that super, super message. Tell a friend and take them to the YouTube channel and show them Crystal. I want to thank our ministerial support, as always, Reverend Sally Bartholomew, taking a Wednesday night off, bless her tonight. But she's been so, so helpful in reincorporating me back into the Wednesday night process. I want to thank our beloved Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman for the invitation to not just me, but to all of us to have fun and enjoy our space. And to the again returning long distance multi-award winning Wednesday night Zoomer inner, Reverend Devin, Savannah, Georgia. Thank you, darling, for being with us. And Peter, you're still second place, but first place in my heart. Okay, baby. All right. With all of that, I want to thank our AV team, Peter up in Portland, and Alice Herndon in Lake Merritt, and Alice Knudsen. I didn't even ask where you were hailing from tonight. Where are you hailing from? If you can tell
Mill
me.
Valley.
Mill Valley. Oh, that sounds like a third place winner to me. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Alice, for joining and helping us today. And as always, I want to thank Constance Chapman and Peggy for the prayer as well, and Constance Chapman for keeping all the administration of all of this together. So with that in mind, gratitude, thank you. The best thing we can do right now is close the way we started, and that's with prayer. So Crystal, I turn it over to you. You got to unmute, darling. There we go.
Thank you so much. I want to ditto all of those thanks. And I also want to give a big thanks to you, Paul. I love your energy. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I love your sense of humor. And I'm just so happy that we got to do this together. I've been missing you around the center.
Well, I'm ever present in some capacity. Ask Reverend Sunshine, she'll tell you. Bless you all. Thank you so much. I'm flattered, and it was a joy to share the platform with you tonight. Truly, I say, you were brilliant, and you shine like a star. And thank you so much for what you bring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I'm giving all the credit to the one, the almighty that we all are. And just tuning in, perfect transition. Take a breath with me. Just let it go. Just letting it be. Knowing that God is all there is. Across time, across the dimensions, across all of the galaxies in the ever expanding universe, there is one, infinite united, which we all are. Each one of us, expressions of the divine, awakened consciousness here on planet Earth. And I know that as we come together in community, we are uplifted, we are healed, and the love of God is revealed. I know that this experience has blessed us all, especially me, especially all of those who helped, all of those who showed up. I just know that this is good and that our togetherness brings us more blessings, more abundance, and it ripples out to the whole world. That the love that we have channeled and infused in this meeting today is present with the whole world, uplifting, healing, soothing, just being. I'm so grateful. I give infinite joyful thanks for this time together. I give thanks for everyone who helped to make it possible, for everyone who showed up, for everyone who didn't show up, who might see it later and for everyone all across the whole world who is here doing their best and bringing God's word and God's love to life on planet Earth. And so I just let go and let God. I allow it to be. I say amen, ashe, aho, and so it is. Yeehaw.
It is.
And so.
And so it is.
So it is
it is.
yeehaw.